In July of 2008, I repowered my 2002 Gemini 105MC with a Honda 15 horsepower high thrust outboard. The most difficult part of the conversion was the removal of the old drive leg, which is attached to the stern with 3M 5200 adhesive sealant. After removing the bolts and disconnecting the transmission, we used a debonding agent designed specifically for 5200 and gradually applied pressure by driving putty knives between the leg and the stern, applying more debond as we gained gaps between the stern and the leg. We worked patiently, and after several hours the leg came off. In comparison, the engine came out relatively easily. After removing all the hoses, wiring, and fuel lines, as well as the alternator, we were able to, using a chain hoist, lift the motor out with the aid of a forklift from the yard. The only thing that prevented it from coming out easily was the mounting brackets on the front. I think we had to remove those. As you can see, the mess left behind by the motor is substantial. I think it took longer to clean up the mess than it did to actually remove the engine. Next, we mounted a piece of starboard on the stern and then used a garlic aluminum auxiliary outboard motor bracket that's designed for up to 25 horsepower motors. The bracket provides about 15 inches of vertical travel, although in practice I've found that I leave it all the way down all the time. The tilting of the motor is enough for it to clear the water. I don't need to raise it up or lower it down. And in fact, when the dinghy's hanging above it, you can't really raise it up. There isn't much space there. You'll notice that the motor that I originally put on there is a tiller control model. And that's because Honda will not sell you a remote control model to install yourself. So what we did was, after I had mounted this tiller model, I took the boat to the dealership where they actually converted it to a remote control model. And this worked out relatively well because running the cables and the electrical and everything is not that straightforward. But now you can easily tilt the motor from the helm and start it up. I highly recommend the conversion. The noise and vibration compared to the diesel engine are greatly reduced. The motor provides near instant power compared to the diesel, which needs about 10 minutes to warm up before you can use it, typically. At idle, it's so quiet, I sometimes try and start the motor when it's already running. Fortunately, it does not seem to harm the motor. So I hope that explains well enough for you the conversion process that I went through, and that feel free to send me any questions that you have.